Bim, guess what? It's just gone, well, a bit more than just gone, 10 o'clock on a Sunday, and that can only mean one thing, and that is a look at the news of the week. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is getting to the stage now where, looking at the American news in particular, I'm unimpressed by the way it is done. So I've had to look for some new sources of American news, and they're all as bad as each other. We think the British news is bad and a little bit corrupt is not the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? Biased. But American news takes it to a whole new level. So pretty much with immediate effect, I no longer do American news, other than news that is covered in the Let's Look at the News from the week, which may include or may not include news from America. Anyway, there's a thing on me saying medal updates. I don't care. The Olympics is unimportant to me. I have more important things to worry about than the Olympics, such as how bald am I getting? That is pretty important to me. Anyway, shall we get this show on the road? Oh yeah, we'll get the show on the road. So this is the week's news, as reported in the UK from various media outlets. Although technically they're that's a Francais outlets. Francais, yeah. Hi Angela, hope you're well. So, here we go. Why does it say 27th when it's actually the 28th? That doesn't make sense. So the first thing is, this is 28th of the 7th. We're nearly into the 8th month of the year. Now that's scary. Anyway, 22nd of July, which was Monday, the day after the Biden pulls out of the American presidential election campaign, Kamala Harris says he was a great president, and she raised $80 million in a day, which is really good apparently. I'm doing my essay, but listen, you're fine Angela, don't worry about it. Congress hears leaders of US Senate saying they got it wrong. Yeah, as in keeping him in for as long as they did. I still say that that is abuse for an elderly person, keeping them in work when they're obviously unable to do it. I mean, I wouldn't even have Biden working in my shop. Never mind running the biggest country or the most powerful country in the world. Process to replace Rishi Sunak as leader of the Tory party and therefore the leader of the opposition begins on Wednesday and will end in November. Apparently there's no rush. Well, there isn't any rush. They've done a lot of rushing and it's not really gone very well, has it? The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, launches Skill England to train the youth to replace the need for immigration, which is weird because he's so for immigration, but anyway, let's see how it goes. Tragedy as 6 people killed in a crash near Wakefield in Yorkshire, car crash, and another 70 dead in Gaza after the IDF, Israeli Defence Force, telling civilians to move again as Benjamin Netanyahu arrives in America, and apparently he's going to get a bit of stick. About time too. Tuesday the 23rd of July. Le July à la 23rd. See, I'm doing a lot of French stuff for obvious reasons. Well, it's not obvious, but it'll make more sense later on. Vice President Kamala Harris gives first speech. She says that there are red flags about gun ownership in America. So maybe she's not all bad after all. And she also attacked Donald Trump. Maybe she's not bad after all. Biden is back in Washington after his COVID scare. Meanwhile in America, the head of the Secret Service resigned over the assassination attempt on Trump. Remember the absolute amount of BS that she came up with during the Congress investigation. And yeah, she's been basically told, well, she's basically quit because she had no choice. I can think of a few other people who need to quit. We will come to them later. Lisa, I hope you're ready for this. I've just had an email which is telling me, oh, I'm live on YouTube. A terrorist is found guilty of terror offences, could face life imprisonment. I don't mention the names of terrorists because they are terrorists. They don't need mentioning, they are just terrorists. That's all you need to know. Labour will shut down Bibby Barge and put people into... Oh, and the hotels as well. Now, there is rumours that the hotel in Wigan, well, it's not a rumour, it's true, has been shut down and all the homeless people have been kicked out. And a rumour of a rumour of a rumour from a source that may or may not be reliable said it's due to the fact that some of the people in there were involved in activities which were how can I word this, would make nonsense apparently. So they shut it down. Apparently the police were there all the time and just letting people carry on with it. 7 Labour members of Parliament were stripped of the whip, i.e. kicked out of the Labour Party for 6 months after a backbench rebellion. Why have I written rebellion? It's rebellion. Basically this was over the King's speech, which was earlier on Tuesday, which I've not mentioned because it was dull and full of stuff that won't happen. And 7 Labour members, they voted with the SNP for scrapping the benefits for families with more than 2 children, or rather the 2-child benefit cap. So if you have a child you get benefits, if you have another child you get more benefits, if you have more children after that, children even, you don't get any more benefits whatsoever. You're stuck on 2. So you can have 4 kids but you still only get the benefits for 2 kids. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but anyway, democracy at its best. Labour again, very similar to what Labour Wigan Council do, where if you argue with Labour Council in Wigan and you're a Labour councillor, they basically ostracise you. Stephen Kelly and Rollo's a dog. It's not a pack of chewy chocolate caramel sweets that I used to love when I was a kid before I realised I was allergic to milk chocolate. Wednesday the 24th. First PMQs, a proper one, sees Rishi agree with Keir regarding Ukraine, i.e. continue support, and also agreeing with the fact they're not going to scrap the cap on the 2 children benefits. The GMP, Greater Manchester Police, refer themselves to the Police Commission after footage of an assault by a police officer at Terminal 2 at Ringway Airport, Manchester Airport, if you're new. Yeah, basically the footage showed a guy on the floor being kicked in the face and then having his head stamped on by a police officer. Now, more of this in a bit, but basically the guy on the floor had just been tasered, therefore was not able to defend himself in any way, shape or form. Whatever happened before is irrelevant in my opinion, and I think the police officer should face criminal charges. More of that later. Soldier stabbed near some barracks. Thankfully, although it was pretty serious and not life-threatening. Thousands take to the streets over the visit by the war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu. Meanwhile, in Congress, he gets a standing ovation from the Joint Congress, though some Democrats actually boycotted the event. Talk about mixed messages. Amanda Abington claims PTSD from being on Strictly. Apparently she was kicked and abused by her partner on Strictly, and she's now got PTSD, which is awful, and I hope she gets well soon. Charlotte Jordan sponsors an Olympic, says whipping horse error of judgment. Now is suspended, and 2 Danish riders are also not going to the Olympics. Now, Charlotte Jordan is one of the most successful British Olympians ever, and she's tying with the most Olympic medals with any other British person ever. And she was assumed that she was going to win at least a bronze, silver or gold at the next, the current Olympics, but footage from 5 years ago has come to light showing her beating a horse with a whip. Thursday the 25th of July. Protest after assault by the GMP officer at Manchester Airport. Andy Burnham, the totally impartial mayor of Greater Manchester, says it's not clear cut, but a disturbing incident. Talk about master of understatements. Mind you, he's a politician. Rumours are he's going to replace Sir Keir Starmer as the leader of the Labour Party and therefore become our Prime Minister. I don't know whether he can do that or not if he's not actually an MP. But anyway, watch that space. Lee Anderson. Now he's the... How can I describe him in a way that I won't get in trouble for? Absolute nutcase MP who says that the police, people want the police to do their job, which is true, but stamping on people's head I don't think is a policeman's job. And he commends them, adding about Andy Burnham, he should shut up, he's a bad un. Yeah, if anyone knows about bad uns, Lee Anderson, look in the mirror. Biden meets Benjamin Netanyahu hours after saying at an address to the whole of the US population, saying it's time to hand over to a younger generation, or someone who knows where they are and what a sentence is. Unlike me tonight, weirdly. Been for a long walk before I did this. I say a long walk. Finished work at I left work at 4:30 and I got in at 8:45. That's a long walk in 24 degrees. NHS appeals for donors for O-type blood. There's only 1.57 days worth left. I mean, that's pretty specific. To be fair, I've never given blood. The reason for that is I hate needles. Also, I don't even know what blood type I am. Do you know what blood type you are? I've no idea. Labour rebrands illegal immigration to irregular migration. Keir Starmer hasn't got long left. It's only been the job a month. Not even that. He'll be out. Don't worry. I predicted this on my TikTok ages ago. I will play the TikTok video, which is predicting the future of the Labour government. And I'll be honest with you, it ain't good. But it's the Labour government, it's not going to be good, is it? Mind you, Tories were much better. Possibly even worse. Anyway, Friday the 26th, Olympics Open. I caught the last half hour and was bored out of my fucking head. It was just people, they weren't even running at one stage, they were walking in the rain. I mean, if I want to see people walking in the rain, I will look out my window. The French rail network was sabotaged, though, by, well, sabotagers. It didn't say who they were or why they'd done it, but they'd done a good job. They obviously knew what they were doing, and people said it's an inside job. The PC, the police constable, who was the GMP officer, is now under criminal investigation, not only for the kicks and the stamp, but apparently he also sprayed pepper spray on the victim afterwards as well. Simple Gaming Guide. Scary party, Sadiq Khan will get in when Keir Starmer finally gets kicked out. Yeah, and as I said last week, the Vice President-elect with Trump said that the first Muslim country in the world to get legitimate and working nuclear weapons will be the United Kingdom. If Sadiq Khan gets in, that's going to happen. What gets me is how many women support illegal migration? Do they not realise that women in the countries these people are coming from are persecuted and given no human rights whatsoever? It's a weird world we live in. Benjamin Netanyahu, war criminal, meets Donald Trump, fucking idiot, in the USA. Protests everywhere. For both of them, to be fair, and a few supporters of Donald Trump. But has anyone noticed how quick Donald Trump heals? He was shot in his ear, and there's not even a scar or a scab on there anymore. It's a fucking miracle. It really is. I think Trump is the reimagination or the rebirth of Christ. Or it was all bullshit to begin with. Saturday the 27th. I never said that though. New footage of the violence before the Manchester Airport head-stamping incident. Now this showed a kerfuffle going on that was released, not officially, it now turns out, well, it's CCTV footage of the area, and it shows the gentleman who was stamped on and kicked in the face attacking 3 police officers, knocking 2 of them to the floor, breaking the nose of one of them, and also pulling another one to the ground who was about to pepper spray one of his mates who was also involved in the scuffle as well. As we've said before, it was obviously a severe incident. However, there is no excuse for someone who has then been tasered and falls to the floor incapacitated to be kicked in the face and have the head stamped on by a member of the police. Now, as a member of the public, yeah, that wouldn't be right either, but for a member of the police are meant to show restraint, even under adverse circumstances, and the police officer in question did not. Meanwhile, 11 dead in a rocket attack in the Golan Heights. Israel blame Hezbollah. Many children are dead. It was basically a playground area, football gated, well, fenced off area. Israel say it was a deliberate attack on kids. Unlike, I mean, Israel would never do such a thing, would they? Oh God, no, imagine the Israeli army ever actually hurting or firing weapons where they know there are children. God, that would never happen, would it? Christ. Meanwhile, Israel attacks Gaza and people in a school shelter, killing many, injuring more, some of which were children. But that's alright because it's Israel doing it. Double standards. 5 now in contention for the Tory leadership campaign. I don't know any of them because, I'll be honest, I don't care. Sunday the 28th, that's today. The funeral of many of the children killed in the rocket attack in the Golan Heights. America has now said, the White House, Hezbollah are to blame. However, they've also said basically that the IDF, Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, war criminal, is not to blame for the deaths of tens of thousands of people in Gaza. Andy Burnham says people have the fuller picture after the leaked footage emerged, but still is kind of backing the police. And the new Labour government says there's a worst case scenario for the finances of the United Kingdom, and it is catastrophic, saying the Tories either covered up or hid what was going on. This despite Labour for the last 10 years saying that everything was terrible and really, really bad. And also the fact that all the government's figures are put out, they only quote figures that have come from independent financial advisors, which is what we look at, which is what Labour look at. So Labour are now suddenly saying, well, I don't think we'll be able to do everything we said we would. Well, who can saw that coming? Apart from everyone, apart from the Muppets who voted Labour. I didn't vote Labour, obviously. I didn't vote Tory either, don't get me wrong. The Tories say that the Labour are peddling nonsense, and I have to agree, they are. But there's even more nonsense from Labour coming up in the next section. And the next section is, are you ready for this? My mouse isn't working. My mouse is now working. Whew. It's the news that makes you go, ooh, and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, let's have a look at the news that makes you go, and there's a lot of it. I mean, a hell of a lot of it. And none of it is good. It's just, what the hell are we doing up there? We don't want to be in there, we want to be in this file. Come on. Come on. Right, let's start with some light-hearted stuff. To be fair, most of this is light-hearted because, well, the news is so depressing, isn't it? So, let's have a light-hearted look at what's going on around the planet. Now, this is a photograph of Johnny Depp. Now, I say a photograph because the photograph to the right is not Johnny Depp. It's a guy from the 1920s. I thought when I saw this picture it was just a picture of Johnny Depp portraying a character in a new film, but no, it's not. Meanwhile, QI, the National Poo Museum on the Isle of Wight has an interactive display where you can polish a turd, which basically says, don't believe when people say you can't polish a turd, because you can if you go to the Isle of Wight Poo Museum. Who knew, sorry. Cocaine found in sharks off Brazil. Experts are concerned it's changing their behaviour. No, shit, Herlock. Scientists have discovered cocaine inside sharks caught off Rio de Janeiro, and marine biologists believe the drug likely came from the city's sewage system and are concerned it may be changing their behaviour. Tests on 13 Brazilian sharpnose sharks revealed they had high levels of the recreational narcotic in their livers and muscles. Either that, or the drug smugglers have upgraded from drug mules to drug sharks. Yep, that's all that was there for. That really crap joke. You're welcome. First ever blind Barbie doll released. Didn't see that coming. And it's on sale from today, reports Australia. Toy giant Mattel has released its first ever blind Barbie doll as part of its push for greater inclusivity within the Fashionistas collection. Now, they've already had Barbie dolls in wheelchairs, and I think they've had have they had amputee Barbie dolls as well? I think they have, or if not, whoever's Barbie doll is older brother will make it an amputee Barbie doll. The doll also comes with a cane held by articulated arms for more movement, a pair of dark aviator sunglasses, and a textured outfit for a better experience for children who are blind or have low vision to play with. I think it's really nice that they're doing that, and maybe it's too long overdue, but you have to admit, a blind Barbie, she's got fucking good makeup. Giant whale removal in Geraldton. 2 cranes have been used to winch a huge whale off a beach near Geraldton earlier today. The removal comes after a warning that the carcass was attracting large sharks to the area, with locals reporting the whale beached itself at least 5 days ago. As you can see there, the whale is very swollen up. Now in America, many years ago, and famously, they decided not to remove the whale hull. They decided to blow it up, which just ended up in disaster because there was whale crap everywhere. A quick Banksy Yeah, I mean, that's all it is. It's just a rat cut in a circle. Have I got news for you? British equestrian star Charlotte Dujan has pulled out of the Olympics after being accused of excessive use of the whip, although she shouldn't have any problems finding a job where her skills are more appreciated, i.e. joining the Labour Party, who on their first vote has suspended 6 of their own brand new MPs from the whip. The world has recorded its hottest day ever, and it's not today, although it might be. It's a bit early yet. Sunday was the hottest day last Sunday, recorded in history according to a preliminary data from an agency monitoring temperatures since the mid-1900s. The global average surface temperature on July the 21st reached 17.09 degrees as heat waves scorched large swathes of the United States, Europe and Russia. It's the second consecutive year average global temperatures have crashed through shocking climate records, and will not be the last according to experts. No. Now, global warming is a thing. Whether or not human activity is increasing it to the rate it is claimed, I doubt. It happens all the time, and no doubt in centuries to come people will be panicking because the planet is cooling down quickly and heading towards an ice age, as it does. It's called the cycle of the planet, or whatever I've just named it. Thousands could lose vital services when telcos switch off their 3G signals. Now, there's quite a lot of people I know who have 3G phones yet, basically Nokia bricks and equivalents, and they say they don't want a smartphone because smartphones have too much, personal data on there, and I kind of agree with that. However, a smartphone for me, the only reason I have one is because I use it for YouTube, and I also use it to run the business in or on. So therefore, I do need a decent what's the word I'm looking for? Internet accessible device. Anyway, in Australia, up to 150,000 Aussies could lose access to crucial services, including phone ringing people, which is pretty crucial, I suppose, on the Optus network when telcos switch off their 3G signals in the coming months. Optus, Telstra and TPG executives fronted a Senate inquiry this morning when it was put up to answer questions about the looming shutdown. Telstra has not provided an estimate on how many of its customers will be similarly impacted when its 3G network closes next month. I mean, to be fair, it's people like my mum who can't use a mobile phone anymore, so we don't bother with that. But I bought her a very simple phone, last phone I bought her, and yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Kamala Harris leads Trump in a poll. US Vice President Kamala Harris holds a slim lead over Republican nominee Donald Trump following Joe Biden's decision to abandon his re-election bid. The voter survey found Harris, who has been endorsed by Biden to be the Democrat candidate in November's election, was leading Trump by 2%. In comparison, Biden lagged Trump by 2% in last week's poll before he announced he was pulling out of the race. So there you go then. Oh, hang up, I've got a massage. I'm having a massage. I'm out of a smartphone, it's just a pity your phone company's garbage. You just said that, but let's look into the facts. I received that text. Enough said. Now, admittedly, if I was at work, I'd probably get that text about 5 hours later, but you know. Let's have a bit of fun again. Now, before I put this up and laugh at it, I have to say that one of my favourite cities that I've worked in retail, and I've worked in a few. I've worked in Wrexham, I've worked in Manchester, I've worked in Birmingham. Is Wakefield a city? I didn't work in Wakefield, so that's irrelevant. And I've worked in Preston, which is a city. But my favourite city for banter and a bit of fun when people come into the shop is Liverpool. I love Liverpudlians. I love everything about Liverpudlians. I just think they're great. So this is not a slur on Liverpudlians, despite the fact it's a slur on Liverpudlians. Never hit a Liverpool fan on a bike, because it may be yours. Sorry, I said I wouldn't laugh. Oh, this is funny. The moment you realise these two combined, they're from Hull, and it is him and her who live in a caravan, or caravans, and they're on Gogglebox. And if you combine the two, what do you get? This is genius. Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer. I love that. I just love that. Now, I live alone, and I'm getting to an age now where you've got to think about dying. Despite the fact, bringing it down a few notches, about 8 years ago, so I did consider taking my own life. Now I'm terrified of dying, and I live alone, so if I do die, it'll probably be days before anyone even notices. So yeah, I could very easily die alone. I could have a fall down the stairs, I could have a heart attack, could have a aneurysm, you know, I could electrocute myself. Anything could happen in the house on my own and no one would know for days. Silence would be alright though, she'd have something to eat, wouldn't she? But yeah, this is the solution. Afraid of dying alone? Become a bus driver. No. I thought it was funny. This is a still from a video that I watched, and it's basically a bear lying down in a puddle or a pond or a river or a stream or something, and it's just there and it's just blowing bubbles into the water. Now I thought it was amusing, but looking at that still, it looks like the thing's actually dying. So maybe it's not as funny as I thought it was. This is funny though. This is a little dog being followed by, well, a shitload of ducklings. And again, it's a still from a video, and the dog is not impressed. It's trying to shake off these ducklings, but they're having none of it. Let's go back to Liverpool, shall we? I love Liverpool, I don't know whether I mentioned it or not. I love the Scousers, I think they're brilliant. Biggest band to come out of Liverpool, obviously the Teardrop Explodes. Yeah, the friend I have is a passionate friend, and I can't see you trying. Also, until I learn to accept my reward, and it's just a story, which is Treason. And then another band called the Beatles. But this is a photograph before they got really big. Yeah, I did that. Well, I didn't do that, someone else did it. I just thought it was funny. What's your perfect day out? I'll be honest with you even. There's only one of these that I'm really excited about, and I need to do something about it because I've not been for ages. But here you are, you've got a car registration that has got BJ 69 KFC. And yep, you're right, the one I'm after is a KFC. I went for a long walk today. I didn't sit down anywhere because I knew if I sat down it just makes it worse. So I stood up and kept walking. However, if you're going for a nice walk, there's nothing better than a nice bench to have a sit on, isn't there? Just to relax. Maybe not this bench. Danger of rocks falling, and there's a bench directly after it. Meanwhile, in Australia, millions are living without an emergency fund with less than $1,000 in the bank. Australian dollars, that's about £3.50. Now, to be honest, I've got less than £3.50 in the bank, so I would qualify for this emergency fund leakage. But how many people do you know who've actually got a shed load of money tucked away somewhere? Certainly not me. But anyway, in Australia, about 3.4 million Australians have less than £1,000 in savings, according to new research. High inflation and punishing interest rates on the mortgages, etc., are to blame, making it difficult for people who may fall ill or are hit by unemployment. According to the InfoChoice State of Aussies savings survey, from the 16% of Aussies who have lost less than $1 million, it's about £10.20, $1,000, about 1.6 million people have spent much more of that emergency fund over the past month, as the price of necessities such as food, energy and housing soar. So yeah, even in Australia it's going wrong. We were talking before about the UK Olympian Charlotte Dujardin, who was pulled out of the Paris 24 Olympics, and here is a picture of her whipping a horse. What gets me is it was filmed 4 or 5 years ago, yet it's only come into the public domain now. Why was it not published at the time, if it was so horrific as it is? And it is pretty horrific if you see the video. Meanwhile, something pretty to look at, although I don't believe any of this is true. NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory has revealed 25 never before seen images to mark the telescope's 25th anniversary. The new set of images is a sample of almost 25,000 observations the Chandra has taken during its tenure in space. I mean, to me that looks like an evolved Pokemon, or 2, or 3. Have you ever been in a hotel? Have you ever been alone in a hotel and thought, what can I do tonight to entertain myself? Well, whatever you do, don't go to a travel lodge. Due to past events, please do not pleasure yourself in rooms. That's from the management. And yeah, and the question of the poster of this is, what past events? I mean, surely someone pleasuring themselves is less messy than what most people go to hotels for, in couples, which one would imagine is more messy. However, due to past events, please do not pleasure yourself in the rooms. So let that be a warning for you. If you ever end up in a hotel room on your own, and particularly if it's a travel lodge, be warned. Well, you have been warned. Do not do what comes naturally when you're alone in a room. Apparently. I wouldn't know. Sorry. Even I can't lie straight in that one. More than 60,000 BMW cars have been recalled. Now, BMW, famous for German engineering. Okay, it's not Vorsprung durch Technik, which is Audi. But still, the cars are made well and everything else. But they've got faulty airbags. More than 60,000 BMW cars have been recalled after several models were found to contain a faulty Takata airbag inflator, which could rupture when deployed. BMW 1 Series, 3 Series, X1 and certain X3 models produced between 2004 and 2014 have been recalled, as well as the F Series models between 2009 and 2017. Owners of the affected vehicles can use an online BMW recall tool to check whether their car is affected. Now let's be honest, it's a recall tool, but if you bought a BMW, you're already a tool, unless it's a white one obviously, because people who drive white BMWs, I'm obliged to say, are very polite and well mannered. It's the blue BMWs, the red BMWs, the grey BMWs, the black BMWs, the dark blue BMWs that are absolute arseholes. And to be fair, for their own safety, they do need airbags that are not faulty, because they drive like idiots. They drive like Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton on the same part of the track. Scientists create male organs in a lab that could spell bad news for blokes. Male fertility is in crisis, apparently, and unless we do something about it, the human race is going to be in a total mess. That's one expert has warned following the news of the creation. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that might be fake news because, well, I've not looked recently at my male organs that closely, and they may look a little bit like that, but I'm pretty sure they're actually walnuts. So maybe they haven't created anything, they've just gone and got some leftover nuts from Christmas and said, look what we've made. A woman baffled by flatmates' excessive toilet paper use, and it's causing issues. Now, a woman has taken to social media to ask for advice after a new flatmate's bizarre toilet paper habit has left her feeling concerned and caused problems with their plumbing. Now, I have two people who I know, both of whom seem to go through toilet paper like it's going out of fashion. In fact, one person pretty much uses the equivalent of a third of a toilet roll every time they go to the toilet. And I'm baffled by this, because both of these toilets are private toilets, one's in the shop and one's in my house, yet my toilet roll just seems to disappear. Now either, well, it's not a travel lodge, so maybe that's one reason why they are busy measuring themselves, but even that wouldn't take, because there's not a lot of, it's only about a teaspoonful usually, apparently, so maybe that wouldn't explain it. Maybe they've got a lot of drippage from their recreated male organs, or maybe they just shed loads of toilet roll on the seat. Now I used to do that years ago in public toilets, put toilet roll on the seat, until I realised that actually my skin generally is waterproof, so even if someone has sat on the toilet seat who's got something a little bit unpleasant, it's unlikely I'm going to catch it, due to the fact that my skin, well, hasn't got any holes in it, apart from the main one, which, to be fair, is not on the seat, it's in the gap in the middle. So yeah, it is a mystery. And I often wondered why people always joke that dads spent ages in the toilet, because I genuinely don't. I can do the two main activities in the toilet at the same, not the same time, in the same length of time, or not much longer for the more a brown version of it. But yeah, it is baffling why people get through so much toilet roll. Anyway, talking of, I was about a really crap chocolate bar that I've always hated, that has made, surprisingly, a shock return. You could say has risen from the dead. My God, it's like history repeating itself. Nestle brings back iconic chocolate bar a year after it was axed. Nestle has announced it's bringing back the classic Karamak range for a limited time only, following its discontinuation last year after a 60-year presence on the shelf. Now, I'll be honest with you, even when I could eat chocolate, milk chocolate, Karamak was vile and disgusting. Horrendous, horrible. It's got nothing going for it whatsoever. So I was quite relieved when they said they weren't doing it anymore, because I wouldn't have to look at it on the shelf and have the PTSD of me eating it when I was a nipper. Anyway, sadly, it's all going to come back to me. Meanwhile, you're out on a boat and you're having a lovely time, and we've heard reports of the orca whales, which are the killer whales, attacking boats by ramming into them en masse, and people getting very concerned about that. Well, that's all well and good, but they ain't doing it right. If you're going to do it, you do it like this. Terrifying moment, a breaching whale capsizes boat, sending 2 people overboard. Footage shot by Colin Younger on a nearby boat shows a humpback whale suddenly emerging from the depths and overturning a 23-foot boat. 2 crewmates were tossed off the boat into the sea. And here's an image a little bit later on of the boat. I don't know where the crew members are. But if you're going to do a job, you know, don't send in the orcas. Send in the humpback whales, because they do the job properly, don't they? They do it properly, they do. Peru alien mummies mystery deepens after a bombshell fingerprint scanning. The media have spoken to a former Colorado prosecutor and current defense attorney who has examined one of the dozen or so specimens, and he has something interesting findings. Yeah, they're not aliens. Who knew? Bedbugs. Pest experts beg holidaymakers to pack clothes in plastic bags as bedbugs surge. It's not going to help you if you're in bed though, is it? I mean, you know, yeah, keep your clothes from getting bedbugs in them, but it's not going to help you. You might have a smartphone, it's just a pity your phone company is garbage, so you could say it's Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac. Caramac. Yeah, thank you. Brilliant. It's also a good idea to pack items in separate bags or compartments to minimise the risk of cross-contamination in case bedbugs are inadvertently introduced. And then what you can do is you can bring them back in the plastic bags from your holidays in Spain or wherever you are, and then introduce them into your house. I mean, it's ingenious. It's not. It's absolute garbage. Biden's Trump orange spray tan as people thinking Oval Office address was AI. Now, I've said for a while that Biden is trying to emulate Trump by being more healthy by spraying himself orange. And to be fair, it's actually a better job than what Trump does. But anyway, apparently it didn't take long for the chatter about Biden's complexion described by an ex-users as very orange to its social media as people declared Biden is sporting his Trump orange spray tan again. Yeah, I actually got slagged off today because my legs are white. I'm like, yeah, I work 7 days in a building with no sunlight. What do you expect? But I get them out when I can. I get everything else out as well. Not everything else. Got my top out as well, but I didn't get anything out. No. Anyway, UK to face death zone temperatures in near future after world's hottest day. The UK could face 40 degrees in the near future, and the death zone temperature could be a regular occurrence according to the latest UK weather update from a top meteorologist. Get in. Let's have some proper summer weather at last. It's supposed to be global warming. It's global warming, but not in the UK. Although maybe not 40 degrees, because I remember 30 degrees nearly killed me. I did a walk round somewhere. I can't remember where it were now. Where were it? Did a walk round. It begins with S. It wasn't so. No, it wasn't so. Was it Shrewsbury? No, it wasn't Shrewsbury. Where was it? I can't remember where it was. And it was in my car. It didn't have aircon. And another rapper. Yeah, he got out the previous stop. So there was no aircon in my car. And I was shirtless in the car. And because I wear shirts that are a size too small, when I got out of the car to put a shirt on, I couldn't actually get my shirt on because I was too sweaty, because it was 30 degrees. So I gave up, left the shirt in the car and walked around the town, and the first thing I said was, it's really hot today, I really hate these temperatures, because middle-aged men walk around with no tops on in town centres, and you wouldn't catch me doing that, even though I was a middle-aged man walking around a town centre with no top on, sweating every bit I had off. I'm trying to think where it was now. I can't remember where that was. Where was it? Anyway, yeah, I felt sorry for the people of the town. Humans will be able to speak directly with their pets using AI, experts claim. Who are these experts? Potentially dogs are going to come into vets, and instead of having a conversation with its caregiver, I might just be speaking directly, maybe through some sort of technology, to the dog. What? Do dogs actually have, or cats have an actual language other than cough, you're in my territory, you're near my partner, usually a male dog shouting at a female, another male dog, or you're eating my food, or something like that, which is more like they don't. You never see a cat going or a dog going, and another one going. Just an absolute expert cough. Meanwhile, sailors terror as pod of killer whales sank a £100,000 boat in a 2-hour attack. Robert Powell, the captain of a 39-foot yacht, has described how his family of orcas, how a family of orcas took the boat down in less than 2 hours while he was sailing the Mediterranean Sea. Blip, blip, blip. Robert Powell, the captain of a 39-foot yacht, has described how a family of orcas took the boat down in less than 2 hours while he was sailing in the Mediterranean Sea earlier this week. So the orcas have obviously seen the video of the humpback whales and thought, me, if they can do that, we can do that as well. But it took them 2 hours, not like 2 seconds to sink the ship. Meanwhile, in the world of gaming, a video game was so bad, creators secretly dumped 700,000 copies in a desert landfill. I say secretly, it's one of the most well-known, confirmed stories of all time about gaming. Console giant Atari controlled the 80% of the video game market in the early 1980s, but ahead of a Christmas '83 they released a game that was so bad it got buried in the desert. The game was E.T., and I've seen a documentary on this, and the story was they paid a lot of money for the E.T. license. Early 80s, E.T. quite hot at the time, so they paid a lot of money for the E.T. license. They wanted to get the game out to coincide with the release of the movie, either at the cinema or on VHS or whatever, and they rushed it, so they paid a fortune to get it done and then give basically a guy with 2 other people 6 months to create a game. And guess what? It was crap. People didn't buy it, it got slated, so they buried it in the desert. And it pretty much bankrupted Atari because of the amount of money they spent on it, and they got no money back. They kept struggling on for a little while, bringing out the Atari Lynx and then later on the Atari Jaguar before giving up on actual consoles and relying more on licensing games. But it's not a secret, it's been known for decades. And there was even a documentary, I think on Netflix, where they dug it up. And they even found consoles down there as well. If you've got an Atari boxed E.T. game that hasn't been buried in the desert, you've got a lot of money. I mean, you're talking possibly thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds, because it is that iconic for being so shite. Talking of shite, Rhyl. Tumbleweed seaside town with more traffic wardens than shoppers, and it's dead apparently. Rhyl in North Wales has struggled to attract visitors, with local businesses, owners and residents blaming the washout summer and the council cutbacks that have seen the seaside attractions shut. Now Rhyl, to be fair, has always been shit. I've been going to Rhyl on and off for many years. I even did I can't remember what it was called now, but I think it was Let's Visit North Wales. Where I went to Rhyl, and this was in like 2019, and it was crap then, and it's not really got any better since. I even went a couple of years ago with my daughter and her kids, so my grandkids, and we went to this play area on the prom that was pretty decent. The kids loved it, and apparently about 2 months later it was ripped up by the council and not replaced. I mean, Rhyl, we slag off Wigan. And you know, Crewe and Nuneaton and Nottingham and everywhere else, Bolton and all that. But I mean, Rhyl, you know, Wigan's here, Crewe's there, Nuneaton's there, Rhyl, right the way down there, completely off the screen. It's that bad. And it's a holiday resort. It's a shame. It's got a nice beach and everything. It's just got no reason to go there. And then, the joke of Wigan is our MP, who said, she's now the new culture secretary, trans athletes should be allowed in women's sports. I'm sorry, but no. Women's sport should be for women who were born as women. If I decided, I mean, I'm not an athlete, I'm incredibly old. If I decided that I was a woman and I wanted to compete in, say, boxing, then I'd have a good chance of doing very well on the amateur circuit. Because I'm a man, okay? I've got no fitness, no nothing, but I'm a man. So a trans man is still, a trans woman is still a man. And Lisa Nandy, well, she won't be fined because this is the woke society we're in at the minute, but she should not be a member of parliament for Wigan or anywhere else. Absolutely vile opinion, really is. Absolutely abhorrent, fuming. Anyway, breaking news. What's been going on while I've been going on? Oh, see what I did there? I said, what's going on while I've been going on? Anyway, let's move on. Moving on. BBC presenter Claire Balding slams England Euro 24 players after Olympic medal ceremony. Why does she do that? I don't know. It doesn't tell us. Why do divers shower after every dive? Well, because they got chlorine on them. Prince Michael of Greece dies aged 85 in Athens hospital. What British tourists need to know about the monster tick warning, including how to remove them, which is not basically rip them off and leave the head inside you, because the mouth parts and everything will basically kill you. Well, could kill you. 15 dead in landslide and 30,000 evacuated after a deadly typhoon. Focused amid the gunfire, AP photographer captures another perspective of a Trump attack, which probably proves, yeah. HS2 bought houses along Manchester extension after it was cancelled. It's one thing to do it before it was cancelled, but there you go then. Robert Downey Jr. Announces a Marvel return. Didn't even get killed off. I've never seen a Marvel film, I don't know, but I think he got killed off along with all that off the characters. But anyway, apparently he's coming back, risen from the dead. Seems with the story this King week, to be fair. King meets well-wishers during Sandringham church visit. British athlete wins first Olympic gold in Paris. Competing for France. Brilliant. He couldn't write it. Best age to get married to guarantee a lower chance of divorce. Probably about a year before you die. Less likely to get divorced, aren't you? Inflammatory bowel disease associated with slightly increased risk of heart failure. Met Office Monday morning weather forecast, warning of weather. Don't give Israel license to kill, said Lebanon's foreign minister. Well, we already have done. We have done since October the 7th, to be fair. Well, maybe October the 14th. Paris Olympics 2024. Adam Patey cries happy tears despite missing out on a 100-metre breaststroke. I think he won a gold afterwards though. Suella Braverman pulls out of leader contest for the Tory party with a parting shot. Oh, I thought she would have got in, to be fair, but there you go. Just shows you what I know. Woman dies after being attacked by while walking a dog. Iconic voice hailed as Gladiators referee John Anderson dies aged 92. A dozen of Wagner fighters killed and Russian helicopter destroyed in Mali ambush. So things not going well for Russia. What a shame, said no one. There's a Peaky Blinders film coming out. Apparently women can get autism too. It's news. What a Cambridge retail park could look like after its stylish revamp. Well, it's not very good, is it? Team GB Boxer left in tears as fans boo a controversial defeat at the Paris Olympique. Six beers that are good for your gut health and ones to avoid. And the main picture is Guinness. I must admit I do drink too much Guinness, but I need the energy because I work 7 days a week and often 12-hour days. So I need the energy. I went off Guinness for a while and I was knackered all the time. I don't get drunk though, and it's not like I get drunk every night, I just have 2 or 3. More Olympic chaos with another event postponed due to protect the health of athletes, and it's diving. World's easiest language to learn contains just 137 words. 9 foods that can cause acid reflux and 2 that can soothe it. Now, I found out in the last 8 months, that Heinz tomato ketchup gives me acid reflux, whereas Hellmann's tomato ketchup doesn't. So I eat only Hellmann's tomato ketchup. I don't only eat. It's not like, I just sit there squeezing Hellmann's tomato ketchup in my mouth. It's not the only thing I eat. But when I eat, I use Hellmann's tomato ketchup rather than Heinz. I prefer it. It's better for me. I've also noticed as well that oranges, if I have anything orange, including orange Lucozade, it gives me a sore throat, which then evolves into a full-fledged cold. So I don't have any orange stuff. So I've gone off orange gin. I don't do oranges. I don't do satsumas or clementines either, and I don't do let down orange juice either. So there you go. End of landlines is as most households now have no home phone, but you can't get decent internet without having a landline. I mean, I have a landline, but I don't have a phone connected to it. I only plug the phone in when I'm paying my phone bill. Other than that, it's not connected. I don't even know what my number is. It changed, and I've no idea what it is. The Chinese swimming doping scandal casting doubt on the Paris Olympique. So again, China's at it this time. Common sleeping disorder linked to high chance of memory loss. Now, to be fair, I did read that, but I can't remember what it said. That's it for that. And why was F1's my only sport that I follow, and I must admit this year has been really good. Why was George Russell disqualified from the Belgian Grand Prix? He was disqualified because his car was too light. Now, if you're not a follower of F1, and I thought this while the race was on, I watched it literally, that's why I was a little bit late starting this. I watched this on Channel 4 Catch Up, and not Catch Up, and everyone did 2 pit stops for tyres, but George Russell did 1, and he did this first one in 10 laps, and there was 44 laps, and it's a very long track, and I couldn't help but think that, okay, he's not done a pit stop, he's got his tyres to the end of the race, but there's not going to be much left of his tyre because of the degradation that you get. Formula 1 tyres are not as good as road tyres, obviously, and I thought that it would make the car lighter. I also thought he might get disqualified if it got down to the webbing, because I know that's happened in the past. Anyway, I don't think it was anything to do with the tyres, but his car was too light. So he got disqualified, which is a shame really, but there you go. So that is it. And that was what was going on in the news this week. It's all very exciting, isn't it? Are you excited by it? I'm excited by it. Anyway, we've had 31 viewers. I've got 2 concurrent viewers, so hi Angela, hi T, hope you're both good. Yeah, I know, psychic. Sorry. Not many chatting tonight, so Angela, Stephen LFC, Kelly and Ro. Simple Gaming Guide, and that's it. And T as well, obviously. So thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. And all being well, she's outside at the moment, Silence, the cat. She's not enjoying this weather. I mean, I enjoy it, but she ain't, because she's a cat. I'm also going to my mum's tomorrow to take her to a hospital appointment, assuming everything, all the planets line up. So you may get an extra drive. Depends what time I'm driving back as to whether or not you get Tuesday as well, or if I can manage to do the shopping tomorrow and therefore I don't need to go on Tuesday. 25 degrees tomorrow. Yep, I know it's going to be a warm one. Anyway, look after yourself, stay safe, and all being well, I will see you again in the future. Thank you for watching, if indeed you still are. I'll be seeing you. Until next time. I'll better let Silence in, haven't I? But yeah. Bye! Oh dear me. Oh, that was funny.